Yes, people. What's going on? Good morning. Welcome to the Morning View. Welcome back to the channel, man. Welcome back to United View. If you are the first time watching this channel and you've never seen me before in your whole life and you don't know what it is you've stumbled across on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Do that right now and drop a like on the video. And if you do know who we are and you are part of this community, you have been for the last 3 or so years, make sure you lot do your housekeeping as well. It's a flex solo stream, so you know that's going to come with a lot of excitement, a lot of unexpected nature of things to happen, and calamitous things. But I promise you, actually, I'm not on that today. I'm on proper stuff. I'm on proper stuff. So do drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Shout out all the members, shout out all the chat. Let's get a little registration. I know it's back to school, actually. It's back to school in England for a lot of kids up and down the country. So we're going to do our own little register. Do you know what I'm saying? Our own little register. Tabrez, always here, says morning. Kristen is here. Big up Nigel, says morning flex. Morning people as well, says Fraser D. Morning man, says Ashfin. Who else we got inside here? Simon McGill says big up UV fam. Big up to you, Simon. Javid, shout out to you, says big up flex and UV fam. Lil Yo-Yo just with straight fleck. Yes, it's me and you. I got a lot to get off my chest this morning, and we got a lot to talk about as well. But shout out the register. Who's shouting in for registration? It's back to school, kids. It's back to school. Shout out Fazwa, says morning and flex as well. Good morning. All says Gasha and Solo Flex. Says Joe Blackman, and Kenya in the building as well, says Wathagu as well. So shout out everybody as well. Descendant of the first crackhead as well says, yo, we here. I hear you. I hear you. So yeah, the likes are liking. We started straight away. And we've got nearly 100 likes through the door straight away. That's what I like to see. Morning Fleck, 13 months for me, said Avi as well. He's been a member for 13 months. All the members, use your perks, man. Use your perks. They are yours. You've earned them. You've bought them. Use your perks. Shout out to everyone in the members chat as well. Get your questions in. Do a little bit of a Q&A later on in the show as well. A little bit of a free-for-all. I want to do that. But we've got a lot to talk about. I want to talk about Casemiro, this situation that kind of started last night with the reports that there could be a loan deal for Casemiro going to Turkey, Galatasaray. We're going to talk about that and what that means and how that seems very far-fetched and why that probably can't happen. But we'll talk about where it came from, what it means. Luke Shaw's return. I saw there's been a few reports on that in terms of Luke Shaw coming back into the fold. That's going to be very interesting to see what happens when he does get back. What happens when... what happens to the selection? Does he go straight back in? How long can you rely on him for? Etc. etc. So Jim Ratcliffe set to make some more board changes as well. So Andy O'Boyle, has gone. We need to talk about that. So there's a lot. Hit those likes, says Nikhil. Let's get it straight into the first thing. Casemiro to Turkey. Now let's talk about where this came from. Shout out United District and shout out to Kane Smith as well. Kane always doing great things on United District. Comes on What the Devil podcast quite regularly as well. So you guys know Kane and you guys know What the Devil. But it was late yesterday evening that this story came out. And I just went, wait, what? It's Turkish reporter. I hope I don't mispronounce his name. Ali Nancy Kuchuk, I'm going to say. Ali Nasi Kuchuk, I'll say that. But he stated that Galatasaray have contacted Casemiro about joining the club to bolster their midfield. Now, if you're thinking, how can that even run? The Turkish window runs until the 13th of September. So they've got a little bit of time there left in their country with their window. But let's just listen. I know Casemiro has been, dreadful. Listen, to be honest, to put it right, he has. There's nothing you can say about that. It's facts, yeah. And against Liverpool, listen, a lot of that was down to Casemiro. I get that. But we can't let him go without a replacement. Like, we are light now. With Ugarte coming in, if you then let Casemiro go, Scott McTominay's gone. Mason Mount, let's just be real. We can't rely on him injury-wise. Christian Eriksen, he's injury-free, but how much can we use him, especially with the way Eric wants to play and the way he's setting us up? Christian Eriksen is pretty much surplus to requirements in terms of his legs and winning duels, and he's going to be pretty useless in that perspective. If we played a different way, we played possession football, we kept the ball a lot better in centre mid, then Eriksen could have a role somewhere. In a good team, he could, but we're not a good team and we're not set up as a good team. So Eriksen is basically surplus. So really, letting Casemiro go to Turkey now would be really silly, unless you bring someone else in. Now, big up Uncle. He's always here. He's one of KG's delegates as well. He says, "Isn't Rabiot free?" And Daniel Luciano says, "Rabiot, 1 year contract." Now, that's the only way. The only way I could see it is if there was something like that. But let's be honest, guys, that weren't the plan. It'll probably be us just rushing. And I just can't see this happening. I cannot see it happening as well. Let's just get into what Kane said as well. He said it was added that the Super League club are in talks with those at Old Trafford over a potential year-long deal for Casemiro. But there's some obvious talking points around that. There's like what we're talking about. Like, obviously, Ugarte coming in, you would think spells the end of Casemiro. I think we all agree with that, right? But we have to phase him out. I think we'll be silly to leave ourselves that light. Some of you may say Casemiro's playing so terrible that let him go anyway. You've got Toby Collier there, who is really young, not quite ready. Let's be real. Like, he has some nice appearances and some nice game time on tour, and we liked what we saw. I think we all agree we liked what we saw, but it's not what we need right now. He got thrust into the competition, thrust into the limelight because Casemiro couldn't do his job properly against Liverpool, and he got a half against Liverpool. Did the best he could, the kid, but he still needs more time. Now, I'm not saying he's not going to be ready anytime soon. I'm not saying that he can't be one for the future for us and could be a first teamer. Who knows? But it's still really early for Toby Collier, and it's for him getting that experience actually against Liverpool, albeit it was a shit performance. And in that half, we conceded one goal. It still wouldn't have been great for him to be on the end of a 3-0 drubbing, would it? And come on at half-time under that pressure. But it's experience nonetheless. He'll take that and he'll learn from that. And he'll continue to be in the squad. But I don't think we're in a position yet to just say, Casemiro, you leave, and we'll just trust in Toby Collier. You look at Sekou coming in, obviously extremely young, going to be in the reserves in the under-23s. He's getting integrated. He's just getting new to the country. Let's not even think about that. So it leaves us with very, very limited options is what my point is. Very, very limited options. So if you're going to let Casemiro go, which I don't think this is a thing, I really don't, it has to be for what you lot are saying. It has to be all of a sudden we go into the free market and you go and get a Rabiot. It's true, right? Rabiot he ain't gone nowhere, has he? He's still a free agent last time I checked. If he's gone somewhere, let me know. But I think a lot of you saying the same thing. He's still a free agent. If you did that, Casemiro for Rabiot, slim pickings, but you'd take it. He's more mobile than Casemiro. He's more physical than Casemiro. But that's the only feasible, plausible option I can see as we talk about this now. And that's why I think that that's not really going to be a thing. I mean, this journalist as well, Ali Kashuk, again, if I'm saying his name wrong, I apologize. He did report when Scott McTominay was reported being subject to a bid from Galatasaray, which was later picked up by the British journalists as well, because they were trying to get him. So there's a little bit of credibility there in terms of this is who this guy is. But let's be real. Casemiro out now would be stupid. I'll be honest. I think that would be a stupid move, because there's one thing him having a shit game against Liverpool, and I'm not denying that he had a shit game against Liverpool, and I'm not denying that we need to look past Casemiro. That's what Ugarte's there for. But let's not leave ourselves short. The window mainly is closed. Do you know what I mean? The window's closed for us unless you get a free agent, and the free agent market is very, very small. Yeah, we didn't want to get Rabiot on a free beforehand. I know that things happen as the market changes. Maybe Casemiro bangs down on Erik ten Hag's door and says, actually, let me go on loan to Galatasaray. I'll do it. I don't want to be in this shit anymore. I can't see that happening. I think it'll be stupid to do. I think it'll be like a knee-jerk reaction. And I think actually with some time out, get Ugarte in there, Casemiro can come on late in games and shore things up the odd time if he gets his head right. And I still do believe, as much as Casemiro's finished, we are hanging him out to dry as well, just like all the other flipping midfielders. This is a tactical problem at Man United. This is a setup problem at Man United. Erik ten Hag, the way he's setting us up in midfield, is not working. It's as simple as that. And the reason why we know that it ain't just a Casemiro thing, and this is just to keep the same energy, it's not just a Casemiro problem, because it doesn't matter what player it is. We've all seen different players at different times be exposed. Last year, when Scott McTominay was playing, even if he was playing further forward, would get exposed. Kobbie Mainoo has been run past countless times. And actually, I saw a stat that I think he's won back the ball 11 times in the first 3 Premier League games, I think it was, which was only rivaled by Kante. Now, you can look at that and say, oh, that's brilliant. Look, Kante-esque numbers. And actually, in the first couple of games, we all did say, actually, Kobbie's winning the ball back quite a bit more often. Like, because we're higher up, he is winning the ball back. He's forcing a few turnovers, and that is good. But there's been other times when, again, we get opened up and people are running through Kobbie like he's not even there. And that's no criticism of Kobbie. That's just what's happening. So it ain't just Casemiro. We can't paint this picture. We can't put it in our heads that Casemiro is the single problem in this midfield. It isn't. It isn't, because I tell you what, if the way we play, even with Ugarte, he may win more duels because he's quicker than Casemiro and he can progress the ball a bit more than Casemiro, etc., etc. He will win duels more, but he ain't going to fix everything. He's not going to be the second coming of Christ. He ain't going to be able to plug them holes. We can get Kante in there with Ugarte. If you want to play like that, it's still a big, big problem. Just before I carry on this, Joe Blackman says 1K watching, over that now, still not 200 likes. Peeps, come on. It's a solo stream. Back the ting. Yeah, back the ting. Let's get the likes up where we can, guys. If you're just joining us, big up to you. Get subscribed as well to the channel. Red Baron says, are we the only modern team to play with a pure number 10? I thought they were extinct, but we still deploy them. Joe Fleming says, Flex, what's going on with the Flex channel though? Yeah, just been so, do you know what? So busy, put certain things in place, and as lives, just was so busy. Haven't even managed to start yet, but it's in the works. It's there on ice. It's been redone. You guys can go there, subscribe. It's there. And when I'm going to unleash it, when the time's right, you're going to see and you're going to enjoy. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, but back to what we were talking about. And Lil Yo-Yo says just quickly, I like the vid for Fleck with no Flecknology. Exactly. Owen's not here. And I know it looks a bit different, but touch wood, like everything's fine. Do you know what I mean? He says that just before his internet kicks out, but everything's calm. But it's like I said, it's a setup thing with the midfield. And back to the Casemiro thing. It's all good us saying we need to get rid of him, which I agree. We need to go in a different direction. But if we're not careful, we can lose sight of the real problem. And the real problem isn't just Casemiro. Yes, he's got a lot of things he can't do. He's got a lot of things that actually, if we ask him to do them, we're asking for trouble. You know, progressing the ball through the thirds, playing further up, even playing basic passes. Like, he makes a lot of poor decisions on the ball. And then mobility-wise, he can't get about the pitch. But it is true when some people dissect Casemiro overall, right? He's never been that guy. Like, he hasn't. Like, if you've watched Casemiro before, right, he's a good player, right, who played in an amazing team for many years, right? He's played in the biggest games in football. Cannot fault him, right? But let's be real of what Casemiro has done versus what he hasn't done. He's never been a front foot midfielder who gets on the ball, who sets the tempo, who needs to play passes between the lines. He's never been that. You know, when he was at Real Madrid with Kroos and Modric and Valverde in there, like, you've got seasoned vets, seasoned pros, the best ever of a generation in Kroos and Modric, in their prime as well. It's not Kroos and Modric now where, you know, this Kroos is just retired and Modric's still going year by year. It's prime. These man prime. Yeah. So Casemiro's job, and I'm not trying to discredit his career or anything like that. I'm just saying what his job was versus what it wasn't. And his job was to fill in the gaps, be quite compact, win the ball back, do the ugly side, which he was fantastic at doing because he could read the game really well, and then progress the ball to the likes of Modric and Kroos and the man who can play ball. It's that simple. Like, even a prime Casemiro wouldn't be good at what we're asking him to do. So why are we now asking him to do it now at the back end of his career in a tougher league, in a more physical league, in a faster league? It doesn't make any sense. And we can all see that, but Eric Ten Hag can't see that. So as much as Casemiro is, you know what I mean, stinking out the place, let's give him a little bit of respect. And this is coming from me. Like when people think I've got a Casemiro agenda, let's just give him some respect in terms of Andy Mitten, don't get shit wrong. Andy Mitten is a top Man United journalist. If you don't know about Andy Mitten, get to know because he's a serious brother. Really nice guy as well. For him to say that, listen, he's got the info that Casemiro weren't happy with tactics last year, I ain't surprised. Yes, Casemiro will know he played shit last year individually, but he probably is going in there saying, what is this? What kind of tactical setup is this? What are we doing? How can we play in this manner? And he knows he's getting hung out to dry and getting dragged through the mill as well. And he should know better in certain situations. Absolutely. But there's no protection for him or any of the other midfielders. There's too much space to cover for him or any of the other midfielders. And there doesn't seem to be a plan to stop that. And then Man United's manager is coming out and saying, well, I don't see a problem with it. I feel sorry for you lot. We'll win trophies. Not good enough. So for all the Casemiro slander, which is right in certain parts, we have to get real over what he is and what he isn't and what is the actual problem. And the actual problem in our midfield is a tactical and structural point of view whereby the manager is asking the players to do something that all of them can't do, not just one guy. So back to what I was talking about Casemiro leaving, it don't make no sense to throw him out. How about Eric Ten Hag coaches? How about he finds a solution with the tools that he has? We've seen so many managers do this, whereby they don't have everything that they want, or they're going through tough periods. What do? They tweak things and change things to get the best out of what they've got until they get something else. That's it. It's that simple. Eric, you've been given these tools. You've now been given an extra tool of Ugarte. For all I care, if you want to play, if you think by playing Ugarte and Casemiro next to each other helps us and we can see it, do it. I don't care about Player FC. I want Kobe to do well. I want them all to do well. But whatever it is you need to do with your UEFA A license as a top level coach in European football, you need to find that balance. It's as simple as that. And we've given you Ugarte. We've got rid of Scott McTominay, who didn't fit because you wasn't starting him. We gave you Mason Mount, who you did like, but obviously he's always injured. You brought in Christian Eriksen, albeit on a free, but you brought him in. These are players that co-sign under Eric, so he has to find a solution. He has to find a solution. UEFA Pro license, sorry, not A license. There you go. So yeah, selling, basically back to my point, getting rid of Casemiro right now, I think is silly. Especially, it's impossible to do if we don't have a replacement. There's no point in doing that. Absolutely no point in doing that. Would be worse because we'll be even light. Think about it against Liverpool, yeah? Although Casemiro had a stinker, guys, we were extremely light in that game in midfield, just by circumstance. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's going to look like that by the time everyone's fit, etc., but by default, we were lighter. Scott McTominay wasn't there. He was sold. Mason Mount wasn't available for selection because he's injured like always. And Ugarte wasn't available. And we don't have Amrabat anymore. So that's basically 4 potential midfielders that could have been in the matchday squad that weren't there. Now, the Amrabat one's a bit different because technically, obviously, we didn't bring him back to the club. But he was an option this time last year is what my point was, right? And now he's not. Mason Mount wasn't an option. Scott McTominay wasn't an option. So the only options we had, which is why we saw Toby Collier get thrown in, is Toby Collier and Christian Eriksen. That's all we had. That's all we had because we've got to get Ugarte in there. And we don't want to be progressive with Christian Eriksen. We can see that. Toby Collier is not ready. So basically take those 2 out. We've only got now Thingy's gone, Scott McTominay. We've only got Casemiro, Ugarte, and forgot his name already because he's never fit. Mason Mount, who doesn't even play deep as a defensive midfielder. He plays further forward and is more of a pressing machine. So there's the only midfielders we got. So let's not be trying to chuck out Casemiro because he's been dreadful against Liverpool. Because I tell you one thing as well, we'll need him. He'll play a lot of games for us this year. You can't expect Ugarte to just come in and now he has to play every single game, 90 minutes in every single competition we're going to be in. from the third game of the season up on. Flipping Eric Ten Hag's already said he ain't flipping Harry Potter. Ugarte might need weeks, maybe months to get up to speed. Now, already, like Owen said, I feel sorry for Ugarte. Like already, we're saying, boy, this guy needs to come in and fix up this whole thing. But he ain't going to unless we make tactical and structural changes in that midfield. I don't care who it is. You don't know how much I love Kante, even still now. But even if we had him who could run around, it still would be a big problem. Let me get to you guys' chat. Joe Fleming, I read that one already. Joe Fleming's second one says, Cass was a DM at Real Madrid and he's a DM here. Simple. Yeah, he is. Exactly. But the things that we're asking him to do, it's like things he's never done. It's mad. Red Baron says Man United 1.45 XG against Liverpool's 1.68 XG. Listen, this is the problem with XG, in it, because we all saw the game. There's ways you can look at it. You can look at it from the XG and go, we weren't that far off their XG. I mean, the shots on target tell you everything, because I think they had 3 shots on target, so did we. But essentially, we all saw the flaws of how we lost the game. We lost the game, and because there's some people saying that Man United weren't terrible and haven't been terrible in all these 3 games. And if you dissect that point and take away the hysteria, were we terrible against Fulham? No, we wasn't. We weren't terrible against Fulham. We should have won by more. Let's keep this is keeping things into perspective. Yeah, we weren't terrible against Fulham. Should have won by more. Were we terrible against Brighton? No, we wasn't. We had some terrible moments and some terrible instances that again lead to goals being conceded, individual errors, bit of unfortunate nature as well. Obviously, with the Xerxes goal disallowed, because we would have been 2-1 up then, so shoulda, woulda, coulda. But the game management and decision making was poor for the remainder of the game. But for the first half, we were very happy with what we were seeing. We just couldn't turn into chances, but we were okay. Wouldn't say we were terrible. Against Liverpool, first 30 minutes, we started fine. The game was in the balance in terms of wasn't great quality, but both teams were giving the ball away, but both teams were giving as good as they got. We were winning the ball back. We were quite aggressive on the front foot, won a few corners. They weren't taken very well, but, we progressed the ball through the thirds a little bit, but we kept being wasteful. The reason why we were shit against Liverpool was because the individual errors directly led to goals. Casemiro does that quite a bit, giving the ball away, but they don't always lead to goals. Because we was against someone so clinical, every mistake got punished instantly. And it's the warning signs were there from when the disallowed goal happened. But the warning signs, like I said, were there. So it led to one to another, where we ended up being terrible from that point on. But actually, if you look at it, it was the fact of the dominoes started falling and the confidence got sucked out of them when they kept making mistakes. But essentially, you could still say it was a really bad performance. But the XG thing, the eye test tells you where we were at. Van Deel says, Flex, we need the Dutchman to sit down and discuss this come up with some solutions. The Flying Dutchman will rise again, Fleck. I really hope so. Because Eric's got to change some stuff. He really does. OJ says, the question is, have we improved in the last 3 seasons? The answer is no, we haven't. And that's true. We haven't. Our style of play hasn't improved. Our identity hasn't improved. Our consistency hasn't improved. And our results haven't improved. And our individual signings or individual players, not many of them have improved. Kobbie Mainoo's been an emergence, so you can say he's improved. Garnacho's been an emergence, so you can say he's improved. Who else has improved? Dallow's been okay. We like Lisandro, but last year was a massive year out for him, injured, and he's come back and hasn't been great at all. That's just the facts. Bruno, you wouldn't say he's improved. Rashford definitely hasn't. Ahmad's improving, but it's not a lot. Lightning says Dallow's definitely improved. Okay, I'll give you that. But back to what OJ was saying, it's true. There's more regression than progression, and that is the problem. That is the problem that we're seeing. And when you see tactically how we're getting pulled apart, like what Arne Slot was saying, it's bang to rights, isn't it? It's bang to rights. Where are we at with likes? Let's do a little check on where we are at. Nearly 1,500 of you watching. Shout out every single one of you getting involved. We're at 330 likes. We need that 500 500 solo stream. I'm going to be pushing you lot. I'm going to be on it. 500 likes. We can get that over the line for sure. I think you guys can do that. We can get to that point and then push as well. Dwayne says, I wanted Eric Ten Hag to stay so he could finish the squad rebuild and get players out. I'm not sure about him as a manager, as he has learned what works in this league, as he hasn't, learned what has worked in this league in over 2 years. Brian says, stop bombing the fullbacks on. That is one thing Slot changed from Klopp last season. Liverpool conceded first umpteen times last season. He has made them more compact. Again, little tactical tweaks. And this is a guy who hasn't even bought anyone. Do you know what I'm saying? Hasn't bought anyone back at all. So brought anyone into the club. And obviously you've got Chiesa there now, but he's not going to be a starter. It's all the same players. And look, he's made little tactical tweaks for the best out of his players, and he's getting results straight away. And this is why Eric Ten Hag doesn't have a leg to stand on when people bring this up. You know, I know it's all relative in terms of how good the teams are and what their aspirations are to what they can achieve. But look at Glasner. Look at Iriola. Do you know what I mean? Look at Fabian Herzler. These guys have come in and are doing well instantly. Do you know what I mean? Crystal Palace got a draw at Chelsea again this other day. She's doing all right. And they've sold a few key players as well. Still got a way of playing, still going to be not getting rolled over, still going to be competitive in the games. It's as simple as that. Why can't we do it? Do you know what I mean? It's not hard. We've spent over 500 million. Why can't we do it? It's a valid question. Red Baron says, XG is the best stat to use versus other stats, in my opinion. I don't know about XG, about Red Baron. I'll be honest. Sometimes I get it. It can seem like a decent stat. Other times I just think it could be a load of rubbish as well, because I'm just like you said there was a clear gulf between the two teams on Sunday, but the XGs were similar. I don't know. You could look at that and say, well, actually, Man United weren't as bad. It's because, we just gave the ball away and gave them chances because they had 3 shots on target, and so did we. But the 3 shots on target after that were very tame from us. They weren't proper. It weren't really that. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to have to do the voice. 2K Universe says, stop doing the 316. They don't have Man City quality. And Nubian Pharaoh. Fake gong. Gong. Everybody, just calm down. Top 4 still possible. Happy times lurking around the corner. I'm chilled. Gong. Don't have no powers like Owen. Told you it's not going to be technology settings. Still did it. Acknowledge him. He must be acknowledged. He must be acknowledged, even with my shit voice. He must be acknowledged. Thank you, Nubian Fair, for coming through. I did my best. Owen impression. I tried, guys. I tried. SOD says, boo, flex. I tried. You need your own settings, LOL, says Massimo TV. Don't worry. When the new machine comes, I'm going to get all plugged up. Everything that Owen's got on his machine, within reason, because his is still be probably a bit more souped up than mine. But I'm going to have the proper thing, proper Doctor Strange thing, everything. I'm going to have some of the sounds as well. I'm going to have all of it, all the graphics, overlay. You wait, and I'm going to know how to work it. I don't know how to work it, more to the point. Get sharing, guys. Nearly, let's see if we get to over 1,500 people watching. That would be great. Share the video, put it in your group chats, put it up on the net. Say that we're live, get people to come in and have their say. We're at 381 likes as well. So let's get over 400 in the bag, which will be very, very soon. I can see you guys on that. And I know you're going to get us to 500 minimum. That's just what the community does. Let's move it on a little bit. A few reports sort of claiming that Luke Shaw is going to be back after the international break and ready to in contention or back in the squad to face Southampton. It wasn't from loads and loads of massive accounts. There's a few accounts here and there, but it just got me thinking of, even if it's not 100% confirmed, just a conversation actually I want to bring up with you guys as well, more so, is, what happens when he's back? Is it a case of, Flex, don't even ask that. He goes straight in. We've had no left back for ages. And for however long he's fit for, he has to play. He has to go straight back in. So you put Dalot back to right back. Masvaro drops to the bench and you put Luke Shaw in. what happens. And the thing is how long are we going to be able to rely on him for? That's the problem. Ridwan says he'll play 2 weeks and get injured like Mount. And you don't like, being pessimistic about these things. I definitely don't. You don't want to be pessimistic about these things, but we also have to be realistic. Mazraoui going to AFCON. When's AFCON? Is AFCON this year again? AFCON was only last. Is there another AFCON next year? AFCON's not every year, is it? How's he going to AFCON already? We only had it last year. AFCON 2025. Wait, it's AFCON every year, peeps? Wait there. AFCON 25 finals set for December 25. Oh, shit. And then it's... Wait. The finals is set for December 25 and January 26 in Morocco. AFCON 25, yeah, raw. There's another AFCON, peeps. I didn't know that. No, there ain't. Ah? It's every 2 years, right. I was going to say, how many AFCON... Right. So there isn't one this year. Right, it's every 2 years. Right, I can see that. Everyone's saying that. That's next year. Right, I was going to say... What do you mean? Yeah, because December 25 is not that. Right, okay. I was confused there because someone just said he's going AFCON as in now. So we ain't got to worry about that this season. Because AFCON will be the following season. But back to what I was saying. Mazraoui, essentially, he's been brought in to be obviously cover for both sides because we know Luke Shaw will be injured. So he's going to have to play a lot of games. Mazraoui will. We know that. But also... We need a starting left back, peeps. It's been so long since we've played with a left-footed actual left back. Someone who's just a left back. It's been ages. It's been absolutely ages to the point where, to be honest, I don't even know what it's like anymore. I don't know what it's like to have someone reliable there who can go up and down the line, get crosses in the box, be really good defensively and just be solid consistently. Because Luke Shaw hasn't been that. When he's been in his best form, he has been. But other than that, he hasn't. Has Flex discussed Bruno's shameless comments? Is that the one about trying to win the league and stuff? I've got that in my running order, actually. I'll bring that up a little bit later. Let me know, S-Mag, if that's the comments you're talking about, because he's been away on an international break, in it, and I think he said something about basically we can't win the league. But yeah, he said, yeah. All right, I'll get to that a little bit later. It's interesting. You said you think they're shameless straight away. We know where you stand. Shout out yourself, S-Mag. But yes, back to this Luke Shaw thing. How do you lot see this playing out? Because when he comes back, boy, obviously he's our left back, innit? So he and we've been standing by waiting for him to get fit. So in my opinion, as soon as he's fit, you have to play him. Of course, we know in the back of our mind what could happen and what eventually will happen. Hopefully it doesn't, but we know that it probably will in terms of him getting a knock, getting a setback, getting a muscular injury, whatever it is, yeah, impact injury, whatever. We know it's going to happen. But at the same time, let's be real. We're a better team when Luke Shaw plays. It's just that he don't play often enough. It's that simple. The biggest problem with Luke Shaw is not that he's not a good left back or that he's not a good player. It's the fact that we very rarely get to see the best of him. Yeah, Flex, what happened to Malacia? I think that's a Liverpool fan there as well. Just big injuries, bro. And that's another one who going to be a couple of months off. So we're not even talking about Malacia in this moment because he's got ages before he comes back. It's going to be... I just don't think we'll see them fit at the same time. We ain't going to see them fit at the same time doing the same things. We're not. I can't see it. And that sounds extremely pessimistic of me. And I want to be more positive than that. But what evidence have we got to suggest that Luke Shaw and Malacia will both be fit, 100% fit at the same time? So we've got two left backs to choose from. It's not going to happen this season, is it, really? Let's be real. Their man ain't staying fit. Flex won't bring the same energy to Luke Shaw like he is with Casemiro. What do you mean, Ninth Earth? Aren't I doing exactly that? I'm saying it's not that Luke Shaw's not a good player. It's not that we don't need him. It's not that we're not a better team with him. But I'm saying that he's just too injury prone. We can't rely on him. Therefore, he needs to go. He needs to leave. He should have been leaving in this summer, but he didn't. Do you know what I mean? Um, in terms of keeping the same energy for Casemiro, I don't. I want to know what you mean, ninth Earth. How do you mean? Oh, because I said we're a better team with Luke Shaw, and don't you think we are? If Luke, are we better with Luke Shaw at left back or not? I think we are. Let me know in the chat what you guys are saying. Ninth Earth doesn't believe that. If Luke Shaw is fit, if Luke Shaw is 100% fit, out of who we have, I'm not saying we can't move him on for someone better, but I'm saying, are we better with him in the team or not? Is it better with Malacia there? Do you prefer Dallo left back? What's going on here? Are we are we losing perspective of what's going on here? What is going on here? As Ty would say. Like, I know Luke Shaw's been out for a long time, so it feels like don't even talk about him. But the default setting is like if he's 100% fit, which obviously he isn't, that's my point. But when he's fit, he's still got to play. We're still paying him until he gets injured again. We're still better with Luke Shaw. Yeah, of course, gives us balance. Right. Okay, I'm not going mad here. Most people are saying yes. Shaw's still our best left back. Black Mora. Absolutely. So right, I just wanted to see that. And it's fine if everyone disagreed with me, I'd still be like standing on this hill by myself saying, all right, well, I'm clearly missing something because even though Luke Shaw's never fit and he should leave because of it, when he's fit, he's still our best left back. When he's fit, he's still a very good left back. You know, even look, he was out for 8, and this is what is the frustrating thing about Luke Shaw, which encompasses why we need to move on from him, but also encompasses the frustration. When he's fit, right, and like he did for England, look, he came back in and was good straight away. The season before last, he was really good. It's only been it's only because of all the injury-ridden seasons that he's had. You can't mount a serious case or a sustainable case for why you should keep Luke Shaw because it's not enough to say when he's fit, or when he's back from injury, he will do this, or if he could stay fit, it's this. Like, well, that's what you're saying. You were like saying Flex sounds like Chelsea fans over Reece James. Exactly. That's my point. That's why he should leave. This is why we need another left back, a proper left back who can stay fit, who's left-footed, by the way, and an actual left back, not utility, not a stopgap. I understand we've had to do it because we've had loads of things to sort out in different positions. So I'm not throwing my toys out the pram saying I can't believe we fucking didn't get a left back, this, that, and the other. But we need to move on from Luke Shaw. We do, because we can't keep doing this every single year. And the longer he stays, we will. And the problem that we've got is, again, sins of the past, there's not going to be a lot of bids who's going to want to take Luke Shaw. Do you know what I mean? Big wages, been here 9 years, I think. And very, very injury prone. I'm not saying he won't be able to find another club at all, but it'll be difficult because you're either going to have to be in the same position that we've been in, which is letting these players run down their contracts, or pay them off and let them go for a small fee. Sure, will probably end up like the Wan-Bissaka vibe. Probably go for like 15 million when it's finally time to sell him. Shout out Steph, big up Steph. Steph says Luke Shaw is the only left back that Rashford gels with. So yes, he'll be back in the team when fit. Yeah, that's another thing. I mean, Rashford has been off it for so long. We forget what it even looks like with Rashi to even flipping be gelling with anyone. Do you know what I mean? It's been ages since he gelled with flipping anyone or gelled with any form of teammate in attack or defense. But we do forget exactly when he plays. Luke Shaw does give us balance, and he is our best left back. At the end of the summer, so when we get to the next summer, absolutely, I think we should be entertaining, more bids. We should be entertaining getting a new left back as a priority for sure, because we know where we can already predict where this season's going to go in terms of our left back, and that will be Mazraoui probably playing more games. Dallo probably playing more games at left back than Luke Shaw and Eric Ten Hag. than Luke Shaw and Malacia. It's because I saw someone say about it, Ten Hag there in the chat. Do you know what I mean? Should we have a bet? Let's have a sportsman's bet. Yeah. Do you not agree that Dallo will probably have more appearances as left back this year than Luke Shaw? Or do you think that Luke Shaw could come in and get enough of a run of games to make sure that he does play at left back more than Dallo? Because I think the inevitable will happen. I don't want to be right. I hope I'm wrong. But Luke Shaw will come back, play for a little bit, and then do you know what? I don't even want to swear. You know what effery will happen? It'll be international break here in one of these dead nation leagues things, yeah? Luke Shaw might even get called up. Or even if he doesn't, we just get some report. Luke Shaw suffered a hamstring thing or a muscular thing. He'll be out for a few weeks. That's what it'll be. Or he'll be back in contention to do this, come back now, yeah? And then what will we get? We'll get Luke Shaw suffered a setback. He was due after this international break, but he's going to need a couple more weeks of recovery. Some bullshit. Some bullshit will happen. And that's why I'm saying I bet you Dallo will play at left back more times than Luke Shaw this year. He's already 3 ahead of him. So he's got a 3-game head start. Will Luke Shaw start against Southampton? Probably not. Probably not. Because also when he comes back this time, like every time, they really want to manage him back as well and ease him back in. So I don't even think he'll start against Southampton, even though apparently he's going to be back and ready for contention. Lil Yo-Yo says, Shaw will unlock MBE young boy. No. Wait there. Let me take a sip of water. MBE young boy. Wait. Is that what's happening on the internet? Yo. Have you made that one up for Rashford? MBE young boy. Shit. Oh, wow. That's fucking rude. MBE young boy. No, that's taking the piss. That is taking the piss. But Joe Blackman says Yo-Yo original. Is that yours, Yo-Yo? Oh, I didn't make it up, but it's jokes. All right, cool. At least I like that. Don't claim someone else's thing. I haven't seen that. Who made that one up? They deserve some praise for that one. NBA young boy. MBE young boy. Sounds like something Rance would say. Or I don't know. Don't think Saeed would make that up. But I don't know who said that, but that's a good one. Basically, Shaw will unlock Rashford, right? So sell both. There you go. There's another super chat here. Let me get that. There you go. KG special. There you go. Big up Ray Carl. I ain't seen you for a hot minute, man. Hope you're well, bro. Says big up Flex. I'll wait till we have full selection headache. I think we'll start to judge when we see Delit, Mazraoui, Ugart, Rasmus, etc. in. It's only fair. Okay. Well, we'll see. Because that is true. We do need to see the full complement of players available. It'd be interesting once Rasmus is back. It'd be interesting once Luke Shaw is back. Ugarte's in. I mean, Mason Mount back is weird because he don't start anyway. But I hear you. You're basically saying you're going to reserve judgment until then, bro. I take your point. Where are we at? 467. Come on, guys. We're over 1,500 watching now. We did it. You guys shared up the video. Can we get to 1,600? Can you keep sharing and push to 1,600? In terms of watching live, let's do that. But in terms of the likes, we're at 468. So let's get that 500 in the bag. Let's do that, and then I'll set a new target because I know you guys are capable of doing that for sure. I want to talk about Sir Jim as well because he's made more changes at boardroom. Let me check also the latest news to make sure I haven't missed anything in the last 40 or so minutes that needs talking about. Mark Critchley's done a piece. In case you hadn't heard, Eric Ten Hag has won 2 trophies. He says it's the best defense he is. It's the best defense he has of his record in charge, so he keeps using it. But he knows as well as anyone, Manchester United manager needs more than silverware to prove they are making progress. 100% agree with that. Yeah, there's nothing. You know, this is interesting actually. This is interesting. Betfred have done something with Andrew Cole. Shout out Coley. He's talking about Xerxes. He says he's only 3 games into his Man United career. We can't be judgmental of a player who started only 1 game, and it was a big game to start versus Liverpool. There's a long way to go, and there's a hell of a lot of football to be played. Yeah, I mean the Xerxes thing. There was a lot of people. Actually, let's talk about that. Actually, I'll get to this gym thing in a little bit. Big up to you guys getting over 500 likes as well. Now we can set it up. Let's go. 600. Let's go. Go. Make it happen. The Xerxes thing. How are you not feeling about that? Because I do feel there was a lot of negativity towards Xerxes showing his performance against Liverpool. He will know it. And it's about calm. It's about calm and perspective, innit? You know what I mean? Yeah, Stephanie Griffith says we could do with Coley right now, 100%. We do have to keep calm. I think there's a few things. Let's look at the things. Big up Lil Yo-Yo. Let's get that up because I want to get to 600 likes. Let's do it. Let's look at what we saw. In the stadium, I saw a player who was nervous. I saw a player who was struggling to handle the pace of what was going on around him and the intensity of the game. And I saw a player who, which we know, was only his 3rd game for Man United and only his first start. So, we saw that he knows where the goal is against Fulham, coming off the bench, really good finish. And we saw that he can get into positions again, 2 scoring positions where he should have notched another 2 against Liverpool. Against Brighton, he was in the right place, probably wrong time, but I still want people to realize that your striker should be where he was when that offside was given at Brighton. So I want him there every time. If it was the other way around and the striker wasn't there to tap it in, and he was doing some false 9 shit where he was out the box, not being in the right spot, his job is to score goals. So he was in the right spot. So I think we have to be, calm around those things. It's still very, very early for him in his career. Some people have said he looks a little bit overweight. He looks a little bit like he's carrying too much. Doesn't look that mobile. So they worry about that. Some people have said they're not sure about him because actually already it looks like he's going to be someone who drops into the 10 position a lot, who drops into sort of a false 9 position a lot, and that's going to cause us problems. Some people have alluded to the fact that he's not a high volume scorer. So they worry about where our goals are going to come from. So those are things that we have to watch over time. We can't be writing him off after 3 games. You can be concerned by what we saw because that was a team thing. But in terms of him, he's young. He's young, man. Let's just wait. Let's just let him get used to it. And his quality will shine through. We always like to, again, because it was Liverpool, we got beat up, we got embarrassed, we got moved to, and he had a bad game as well as Casemiro. Everyone, it's panic stations, isn't it? There's no calm. We've been crying out for somebody who can hold the ball up, have a higher technical ability, good with his feet, have some nice little touches, and someone who wants the ball. He's someone who can do that, but we have to just be patient. And again, he's been brought in as an option. There's no default that he's now the starting number 9. It's whoever's playing better as for what type of game it is. And some people we're already screaming out for Rasmus because he's just more aggressive and runs harder. But let's not forget Rasmus's flaws. Let's be honest. There was so many times last year where Rasmus was just wrestling defenders. Let's not act like that didn't happen. Rasmus was just wrestling defenders. He spent half his time backing into people, bashing people, trying to win fouls. You know what I mean? When we saw some of the best of Rasmus was when we provided him chances or when he provided chances for himself. He's a good finisher. And he also is a willing runner that way towards goal. So we can't also then think back to Rasmus and go, hurry up, Rasmus. Rasmus will fix this because he's got a lot of flaws in his game too. 21 years of age. He's got a lot to learn. He's only in his 2nd season as well. Now, he got 16 goals last season, which actually, on the face of it, was a good return. He was our top scorer in all comps. Did well in the Champions League, even though we were shit and finished bottom. The only problem for Rasmus was he scored in patches. in heavily condensed patches. I mean, it took him like nearly 14 games to get his first goal, didn't it? Then he had a really good period where he scored like 6 and 7, where he scored against Villa, Luton. Who else did he score against in that period? Villa, Luton, a couple of games at home. I can't remember all the teams he scored against, but he scored like 6 or 7 within a really condensed period. Then he got injured. West Ham, that was it. West Ham goal was really good on his right foot, where he dragged it from his left to his right. So he went on a really good run, and we saw what I do like about some of Rasmus's finishes. You get glimpses of what he's about. You know, we saw it at the back end of the season when he started having a rest, when he come off the bench against Newcastle and Brighton, Spurs as well. That was the one he took off Rashford and rifled it in the top corner. That one as well, good shout. Yeah, we started to see that he could score different types of goals. You know, right place, right time against Luton, one at the back post, kind of chests it in, or it hits off him. He kind of just does an instinctive finish. The tap in that he got against Villa at Villa Park, right place, right time, knows where to be. The one he took off Rashford, the one he instinctively got at Villa at home when it hit off John McGinn's leg, but he finished it well. The one that he took at Brighton, where he took the ball again onto his right foot, put his foot through it, did the same thing, but back a cross goal against West Ham. Different types of goals, and he works hard. So there's good signs there. But again, back to my point, we need to remain patient with these kids. We need to remain patient. I know we've built a team for the future. We've got players that are going to be good in the future. You know, they're not necessarily only for now. And I know we need results now, and it's not good enough. I get that. But we can't just throw these youngsters who are actually doing all right or trying to get used to the shit under the bus. Jeremy, shout out Jeremy. Jeremy says, it's only game week 3. We need to give it time. I still believe in the manager, but I disagree with his comments after the game. Top 4 and Europa League. Big up UV fam. Yeah, his comments after the game are crazy. Speaking of some comments, because S-Mag brought it up earlier about Bruno. I don't. It's via the zone, I think, or via goal, actually. The zone via goal, it says. And Bruno said this while he was on international duty, I think. Bruno's got the same T-shirt I got on right there. That's good to see. Me and Bruno got the same taste. Anyway, he said, yes, I'm perfectly aware of this. Man United are not ready to win the Premier League. We are indeed fighting for the title with the concrete and real objective of trying to finish in the top 4 in the places that give access to the Champions League. But there is still a lot to improve for the greater objective and for my dream, which is to one day win this championship. I don't think that's a disgraceful comment. What's he supposed to say? This Man United team isn't ready to win the Premier League, but you know, our real objective is trying to get in the top 4 and give access to places that you know, get us in the Champions League. But his dream is to win the Premier League. There's still a lot to improve on for the greater objective, and the greater objective is to win the Premier League. So, what more can he say? Let alone what more can he say? Let alone what can he do? What can he say? Do you know what I mean? It's perfectly true. This team's not ready to win the Premier League. Do we disagree? No, we're gazillion miles off being able to win the Premier League right now. Our realistic objective is getting in the top 4. That will give us access to go on and achieve our greater objective, which is to eventually win the league. So I'm not mad at that. I don't see why anyone's mad at that. We are at 573 likes as well. Before we wrap up, guys, someone just said it there. 32 away from 600 likes. Let's go. Get those 600 likes in as we wrap up the show. It is shit in the international break, innit? After this type of loss has happened, though, innit? Because you just have to talk about it all the time. You want to move away from it, but it just doesn't happen, does it? It doesn't. And Limweek says that is the latest member of UV Members Club as well. So shout out to you. Thank you for joining. And where are we at? We are at 585. Come on, peeps. Come on, peeps. Come on. 15 more. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. Let's get it over. Hi, Flex. Love your channel. Keep it up. Well, thank you for joining, bro. We could be a female, actually, but thank you for joining the channel. Members only. Yeah, I mean, there's members only on match day. The match day reactions when Owen does the full-time view. If you are a member, remember you can call in and have your say. Yeah, members only. Because boy, if we don't beat Southampton, yeah, let me tell you this, Eric's going to be finished. I'll be honest. If we don't beat Southampton, he could be done. And I mean sitting duck done, because I just don't know how you can recover if you don't get a result against them. There's the 600th like. We're now over that. Big up to everyone who's watched the show. Smash a like on the video if you are new. What have we got coming up today? It is What the Devil later on today at 6 p.m. So make sure you guys check out the United District boys as well from UVHQ. And yeah, big show. That's what it's about. Big opinion. Thanks for joining me. Flex Solo. Told you nothing bad would happen. Told you, didn't I? You all laughed at me. I'm out of here. Take care. Peace.